It's already pushing 90 here, so I don't want my phone to shut off. But let me explain what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing a live series on potato growing. Right now, I have some baby red potatoes that have sprouted. You can see the sprouts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant these. So let me explain what I'm doing. I have 13 potatoes. I've already dug the furrow. I spent about an hour on I've used a spade fork, my cultivator, and a rake, and I've pulled it back both sides. You'll see in front of each potato, there is some compost. I'm not composting the whole furrow because when all is said and done, each potato will have a little mound around it. So there's no sense in putting any kind of stuff in between it. It'll have a good starter for compost, so it'll take off really well. So I do have a 14th one right down here. I'm not going to show. When I was working on my A-frame over here yesterday, right there, while I was working on that and using the cultivator, I dug up a baby red that had it had a sprout coming out of it. I did a little damage to it, but I'm not sure if it's going to take. So I did plant that here. So I'm hoping that I'll have 14 plants. Some will probably make it, some probably won't. It is 90 degrees already. It is supposed to be 100 again today. It was 100 yesterday. So with that said, I have them laid out. That dirt is very loose. And now, like I said, I've put a little bit of compost. And now I'm just going to go up there and you'll see me start. I'm going to put a potato in each one. And then right there is a 5-gallon bucket. It's about half full of my wood shavings, wood chips, sawdust, whatever you want to call it. So that is going to be put on top of the pile because that will help keep the soil loose. So first things first, let's get these in the ground and then I'll explain what's going on next. I'm going to put it right in, stem up, plant up, and then I'm just going to cover this from that side. I'm only pulling dirt from this side. I hope you can hear me. I'm still waiting for my new microphone. So sprouts are up, pull a little dirt. The sawdust is going to act as compost eventually, but once these sprout and I pull more dirt over, it'll help keep the dirt loose. I'm giving these anywhere from 12 to 16 inches in between. Give a little more space in between. This is the new section that I dug up this spring. Just give me a second. I'll be over to the phone here in a minute. and then we'll hopefully be able to answer some questions. Nope, did that backwards, didn't I? That's okay. Okay, 2 left, plus the one I planted this morning. Okay, so the purpose, okay, no problem, Brian. So the purpose, as you can see, the sawdust is just going to be there for a little bit of composting eventually. In about 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, these sprouts, if they're good, I'll get these to sprout past and out of the soil as they reach for the sun. Once that happens, I'll pull more dirt from this side and then this side and make 14 separate mounds. And then what'll happen is there'll be nice loose soil, and then as the potato tubers shoot out and push out, they will begin to fill those mounds. I don't know what you mean about the TV. If you go into a little more detail, maybe I can answer it. So really quick, let me just go over here with the hose. I'm just going to water the sawdust a little bit. Let it set. Give the green beans to the right just a little bit of water. And the phone shut down. So that is one of the reasons why people ask me, why do I do an outside live so early that they can't make it? And that's fine, I understand. Not everybody's gonna make your live. I have no problem with that. I do a lot of 15, 20, 25-minute lives, and then I just release them. And then people come back and watch them, so I get watch hours on them. I don't fret that kind of stuff. I literally am so laid back, it's ridiculous. But the reason I do them that early, I pushed it a little bit late today. I originally had it set for 8, and I should have just went with my gut instinct. But it's almost 90 degrees, so the phone shut down. So I got 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in. Hopefully it caught most of the footage. I'll go back and edit that shortly and just remove that dead space where the camera shut down. It's gonna be 100 here today. So when people say, why do you start at 6 or 7? I'm not even available yet. Well, because it's 70 degrees here at 6 or 7. Once you hit the 10 o'clock hour here, AM, Central Standard Time in midsummer Oklahoma, you're pushing 90. We have nights where we'll have a week of 100-degree temperatures. Your nighttime temperature will be 89 degrees. It just stays and sticks. And then what happens is the next day, it only has, an hour to get back up into the mid-90s. As soon as that sun pops over the horizon, it starts cranking up the heat again. So that's why I go out at 6 and 7 sometimes. Now, when I get to the fall and our average temperature is 70 degrees, I can do a later live. So hopefully you saw what I did with the potatoes. I have planted 14 potatoes. I dug my furrow and I took my cultivator down the furrow, loosened up all the soil, made a big V. Hey, Scully Pop, how you doing? I pulled the dirt back in a V, so it was a V-shaped trench, and it was very loose soil. And then I put, in front of each potato, I put some compost, some of my compost. Then I set each potato down in there, sprout up. That's awesome, Scully. Sprout up, and then I pulled over just a couple handfuls of dirt just over the sprout, and then I put a little sawdust on it, and I wet that down. Once those sprouts, that's what I was getting to, I think, when the phone shut off. Once those sprouts pop through the ground, I'll go back out and round out each mound. I'll pull all the dirt over in a nice mound around each one, add more sawdust, maybe some grass clippings, and then that soil will all be loose. The way potatoes grow is they shoot their tubers out, and they shoot the little spuds go out. And it's like anything else, the path of least resistance. So the looser the ground, the healthier the soil, you're gonna get a pretty good yield. If you have clay-like soil, which you saw in the spring when I planted in some clay, you might get 1 or 2 little potatoes because they can't expand. Well, just think about it. If you were, you're gonna go, if I go to a locked door or an open door, I'm not gonna fight to get out the locked door. I'm gonna open the door that's unlocked and walk out, right? Electricity does the same thing. Path of least resistance. It travels. That's the way electricity travels. That's just the way it is. Plants grow with the least amount of resistance. So when you have a plant that grows underground, you want to make sure. If you have, turnips, rutabaga, beets, potatoes, any kind of potato, carrots, things like that grow under the ground, make sure it's cultivated well, and then it's a healthy soil, and you should get a good yield. So all I'm waiting for now, I've already watered them. I don't know if it picked it up on the camera because the camera died. It's too hot out. I watered down the top of each plant, and then I'll give that probably 3 or 4 days. I should start to see those sprouts come out. And like I said, then I'll mound it up again. Everything else is going really, really, really well. I'm doing a live when they sprout. Once I get half of them at least sprouted, I'll do another live. Hopefully by then it'll be a little cooler. Maybe in a week or so, I'll go out in the morning or the evening. Maybe I'll do an evening. But if I can go out there, hey, Missy, I'll go out there when it's a little cooler with the sprouts, and then I'll go over the second hilling process. Oh, that's cool, Scully. And then once they sprout again, I won't touch them because I'll mound it up. I'll make sure the soil's loose, and then I'll just let them go to town. I'll water them every couple days. And again, that's why people, if you watch some people, they'll put, and you grow potatoes, everybody grows crops differently. I'm not saying what's right, what's wrong. It's how I do it. This is what I don't know if it's a talent, Scully. It's just probably some memories I have from my past childhood. My dad, my granddad, an old farmer I worked for on the dairy farm, they always planted in hills. Hills, hills, hills. Some people plant in the ground. They'll just dig a hole, drop the potato in and cover it. And then if they only get 1 or 2 potatoes, they'll wonder why. Well, number one, you didn't loosen the soil. Second big thing is if you're in a wet environment, Oklahoma, typically dry in the summer. In the spring, you will get inundated with the tornado weather, the hail, the rain. You'll get lots of it. As soon as you start getting into June, July, you'll start getting in your little, maybe you'll get a drought or a micro drought where it might go for 2 weeks, you'll get nothing. The ground will be like just like playground sand. But when you get those wet times, and if you don't have the potatoes pushing up and growing and expanding into the hill, where when the water hits, it does water and dampens the soil, but then it runs down and goes into the soil underneath. It feeds the roots. If you just plant in the ground and you have any low spots, what happens is the water pools. You have an organism underground that is wet, sitting in water for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to rot. That's just nature. Things will decompose. The minute, this is, I don't want to get all weird, but the minute you're born, you're starting on your downward slope. You know, your cells are splitting and growing and adding, and you're getting bigger and stronger and smarter, and then all of a sudden it starts to go downhill. Same thing, if you throw something in the dirt, it's going to rot if it's wet for an extended period of time, unless it's treated like a piece of wood, like treated wood, where it's treated with some kind of chemical. And then that will even rot. Nature will win. So if you're gonna just dig a 3-inch hole and drop a potato in and cover it, I'm just gonna tell you, I would not expect a solid harvest. Now, you can plant in buckets. I've planted in buckets. I've planted in towers. I've planted in bags. But you can control the water in those, because you can put weep holes in it. If you think about it, you put something in the dirt, there's no weep holes in the dirt. And if you're in a wet environment and you have a heavy clay in your soil, your potatoes are going to rot. They're just going to decompose. That's why you need to cultivate the soil. Oh, thank you, Black Man Explorer TV. Thank you. Cultivate it, loosen the soil, throw in grass clippings, throw in sawdust if you can get it. Then make sure you're composting it, and then hill the potato. The roots will go down, and then the potatoes will come up. Now, you have determinate and indeterminate. Determinate, they'll go more horizontal, so you want a wider area. If you're doing russets, which are indeterminates, russets like to grow up. That's why potato farmers that grow russets, they'll put these big, you'll see big hills out there, because those potatoes, as they propagate, they'll push up and they'll fill that hill. Some other ones go out, so you can take like a Yukon Gold. Yukon Golds will grow more horizontal. So you'll dig a hole, loosen it up, put a bunch in there, cover it with some straw, some grass, some dirt, some compost, some sand, whatever. You know, hill it just a little bit and then just leave it alone. You're not going to keep dragging dirt over it. When they pop, they're going to spread horizontally. So you need to keep that in mind when you're growing potatoes. So that's going to be, hey Dave. Yeah, Missy. I lived up north for 41 years. And you have your one season. And the problem with up north is I was in the Northeast. I was in upstate New York. You know, you're waiting till May to grow a lot of times. And you don't know. You might get some severe weather in May that can destroy your crop. So sometimes you're waiting till late May and you're hoping everything comes to harvest. If not, you're not going to have a good harvest. If you lose a lot of your crops, you're not going to get another opportunity. Down here, I have started here in late February where we've had 70 and 80 degree weather constant. And I have started here. I started potatoes this spring in February. And by the time I got done picking them, I ended up getting, in those few, I did 160 pounds of potatoes is what I grew. And I started those in February, early March. Up north, that's unheard of because you'll still get frost and you'll kill your plants. So down here, you know, down the south in Oklahoma, I can keep growing. I wanted to get a fuller shot today of my garden because my Connecticut field pumpkin plants on the one side have completely taken over that section of garden. They've hooked to everything. I put my spade fork out there last night after digging some dirt. It's already hooked around that in one night. Oh, I do all organic, Explorer TV. I do all organic. All I do is I use eggshells, I use coffee grounds, I use anything I take out of the garden, my potatoes, zucchini, green beans, all those plants, all of those leaves, grass clippings. I have a bagger. I don't use any commercial fertilizer at all. Yeah, Missy, I know because my sister told me that they had a spell there for a little bit because she's still up in New York. But yeah, I don't, and then what I do is I propagate my seeds. So I'm on my 5th generation of green bean seeds. And each year what I do is each planting, I plant during the extreme weather. So like right now, the last couple of weeks, it's been anywhere from 95 to 100, 101. Well, I'll plant and grow during that time. If those plants will survive that heat, they're a really solid, healthy plant. I'll let those seeds go. I won't pick them. I'll let them go to seed. And then I'll use those seeds next year. Yeah, manure. Manure's great. Hopefully at some point, my son said he is going to be raising chickens. If he does, then I'll be able to add some chicken manure. But yeah, I've been composting. And now that I have pumpkin plants, that's the other reason I grew pumpkin plants, because I knew one pumpkin seed can cover, once it grows to fruition and gets ready to harvest, one pumpkin seed can make plants that are 100 square feet. So it can make it'll fill a 10 foot by 10 foot area. So, you know, I have 10 or 20 of them out there and they're just filling in and crawling on each other. It is. Chicken manure is great. So what I've been doing is when the plants are done being harvested, I just take my blade out and I just sever it from the ground. I cut them all up in sections. You'll see them out there in some of my photos. I'll have piles of green bean plants. I'll have piles of pumpkin plants, pumpkin leaves. That's all going to get tilled back in. So my whole garden this year will be 100% composted with all of those pumpkin plants. And then I'll till that. I have that rototiller. I'll till it 3 or 4 times during the winter because I'll keep adding sawdust, peelings, and everything else. And by next year, I should be getting a good yield. So thanks for everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. I apologize for the downtime. Like I said, phone shut down from the heat. It's going to be a hot one out there. I still have some work to do outside, so I'm getting hydrated now. And I'm going to head out there in a few minutes. I have to mow. I have to trim the weeds with the weed trimmer. I have to tie up some cucumber plants up to the trellis. I'm adding a trellis for my sugar pie pumpkins. And I'm going to try a couple trellises on those. And then I'll be doing a live, like I said. By the time I get ready to do a live, I should have a lot of maintenance done. Oh, thank you, Missy. Yeah, I'll stay hydrated. I have no problem with it. I drink water, then I come in after 45 minutes. I'll sit down, I got a fan, the AC running. I just sit down, have a water or two. I'll go back out after 20 minutes. I'll hit it again for 45 minutes or so. When I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed, I'll just come back in. I've done this for years now, so I understand how to work in the Oklahoma and the Texas heat. I stay safe with it. And hey, you know what? Like I always say, if I have a heat stroke and I die out there in the garden, I died doing what I love doing. And they can just dig the hole there and roll me in and cover me up and make me some compost. I am full of it. Everybody says I'm full of BS, so I'd probably make some really good compost. You do rice, yep, maize, tea, cabbage, peas. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wish I could do coffee. I would love to grow my own coffee. I really wish I could, but maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll see if I can. But with that said, everybody, I'm going to call this an end here, and then I'm going to, before I release this video, it'll be released in a couple hours, I'm going to let it upload. And then, yeah, equatorial climate, yes. Yep, correct. When it uploads finally, I'm going to go in and just cut that section in the editor in YouTube, remove that section where the phone died, so it'll then come together in one solid long video. So I appreciate everybody being here. Black Man Explorer TV, thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Scully Pop, I'll see you next time. I'm not sure when you're going live next time, but I do have your notification bell rung, so I will be watching next time. And I expect a shout out next time. You got to give Okies a shout out. Okie needs help. But anyways, I'm just kidding. You don't have to give me a shout out. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy your day.